I'm going to show you how to make keto pumpkin pie. If you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I love making recipes that are keto, but also are very comforting and yummy and tasty, because I don't believe that any diet plan should restrict you from eating the food you love. And if there's anything I have learned since I've been keto, is that you can keto-fy anything. This recipe is super simple. Even though the whole process takes close to an hour and a half, the actual steps in the recipe are so easy to do. And we're gonna start with the crust. For the crust, you're going to need almond flour, coconut flour, xanthan gum, salt, cream cheese, butter, a single egg. I like to use the vanilla cream stevia as opposed to just the regular stevia clear, but you could use either one. But before we start making the crust, I wanted to run through the rest of the ingredients real quick, the ingredients for the filling of the pumpkin pie. And for this, of course, you need pumpkin. We're gonna add some pumpkin spice, powdered erythritol, which I use a Swerve brand, vanilla extract, 2 more eggs. You're going to use coconut cream, and for this, make sure it's the coconut cream and not the milk. And chances are you're going to need to pour out this whole can and stir it up and shake it up a bit, because chances are it's probably separated while in the can, and you want it fully mixed together before you scoop out the amount that you need. You need some yacon syrup, and this is actually a great molasses replacement. You can find it on Amazon. I'll make sure and link it in the description box below. But again, yacon syrup, this is going to replace molasses in any recipes really that you need that molasses flavoring, like gingerbread cookies, or in this case, some pumpkin pie. And then of course, a little bit of salt. I used to think it was kind of weird putting salt in sweet dishes, with the exception of, salty and sweet do work together. But in a sweet dish, salt actually does enhance the flavor, even if you're not going for that salty flavor. All right, now we're gonna get on to making the crust of your pie. All right, for the crust, all you need is your food processor, okay? I've already got all the ingredients measured out because I don't wanna bore you with measuring, just wanna dump everything in here. The first thing you're gonna need is about 1 1/4 cup of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pulse it to get all the dry ingredients mixed together really well. Next, we're going to add our wet ingredients. You're going to want 3 tablespoons of butter cubed. Now we're keeping it cold, and this is actually a little trick I learned from the couple over at Keto Connect. I was watching one of their pie recipes, or one of their pie crust recipes, and they kept the butter and the cream cheese cold when they made up their pie crust. And I thought it was kind of strange at first, but it works really well and actually makes the dough so that you can roll it out for the pie crust instead of trying to press it into the pie pan. So you're, like I said, just kind of spread the butter out in the food processor, add in your cream cheese, and before we move on, we're gonna go ahead and pulse this a little bit until it gets good and crumbly. Oops, that may be a little bit too crumbly. I don't want the dough to form just yet because I still need to add in my eggs, or my single egg for the dough, and a little bit of cream stevia, about 1/2 teaspoon worth. Just add a little extra sweetness to it. And then we're gonna pulse again until the dough forms. The next thing you wanna do is you're gonna wanna just take the dough and pour it out onto, I say pour it out, clump it out, onto some plastic wrap, and you're gonna roll it up into a dough ball, and then we're going to refrigerate this for about 30 minutes to an hour, just to let it finish setting so that we can very easily roll it out. Again, in the fridge, 30 minutes, we'll be right back. It's been 30 minutes and we are ready to roll out our pie crust. For this, I'm gonna bring you in for a closer look. I'll place it between 2 pieces of parchment paper, and I'm just gonna start rolling it out a little bit by hand first. All right, now I'm gonna grab the roller and just start working it out, trying to keep it as much in a circle as possible since it's going into my pie pan. Now for the tricky part, actually getting this into the pie pan without breaking it too much. Kind of let it form up while it's upside down, and then flip it over. And I'm gonna let this, again, I'm gonna form this as much as I can while it's still with the plastic wrap. All right, we have just a little bit of that came over, but the pie crust looks good. I'm gonna kind of just clean up around the edges. But before we get it into the oven, I am going to just take a fork and poke a few holes in the bottom. And now it is ready to go in the oven at 325 degrees for about 10 minutes. Now I didn't let this get too brown because obviously this is going to be going back in the oven here in about 10 minutes. And so, you know, the edges are going to brown up pretty quickly anyway, and I will stick some foil around the edges when we get ready for that. But while this is cooling off, we're going to get to the filling. All right, we're ready to make the pumpkin pie filling, and this is what I love about this recipe so much. You saw the crust, everything was put into a food processor to mix up, super easy. This is even easier because I get to mix all the ingredients at the same time in my fun new kitchen gadget. My KitchenAid stand mixer. Absolutely love it. If you're interested in these, I'll put a link in the description box below. But for now, I'm gonna bring you in for a closer look as I put in all the ingredients and get it mixing. All right, this is gonna call for an entire can of pumpkin puree, 2 eggs, 2/3 cup of powdered swerve. It's gonna be about 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice and about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 cup of coconut cream, and it had separated, so I did need to pre-mix this to get it all back together out of the can. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of this yacon syrup. Again, this is what's gonna give that molasses flavor. And I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, now I'm just gonna hook up my paddle, and I'm just gonna let this run to get it all mixed up. Pour the filling into our pie crust. So I'm gonna spread it out like this. All right, this is ready to go into the oven for about 40 to 50 minutes. All right guys, the pumpkin pie is out of the oven and it smells so good. Now I just need to let it cool off to room temperature and then stick it in the refrigerator for at least an hour before I cut into it. I'll try to remember to get some pictures of the pie as we're cutting into it and putting it on a plate. But for now, that is all I have for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or if you have any recommendations for kinds of recipes that you would like to see on this channel, make sure you comment below and let me know, and I will see what I can do. Until next time, you guys have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.